climate action offers an opportunity for the nation to come together and do some really big things. You know, I've seen firsthand what the reports make clear, the devastating toll of climate change and its existential threat to all of us, and is the ultimate threat to humanity, climate change.
It is weird how married to this issue all the world's elites are, right? All the politicians, the billionaires, they all keep saying these things. Why? Why do you think that is? Joining me now to talk about it, Connor Tomlinson, writer-presenter at lotuseaters.com. Connor, why is it from Bill Gates to Joe Biden to Ireland to Germany to everywhere else, they all say the same things and it's all about something that isn't even real?
Well, I'm really glad that Joe Biden's expressing so much concern about climate change being the number one threat to global peace, rather than his own terrible foreign policy. He's so concerned that, as the New York Times reported this week, he probably isn't actually going. I would suggest it's something to do with the fact that his brain is full of ants or something. But as for why all of the global elite are on board with the same agenda, well, if you take a look at their policies, are they designed to actually achieve the goal that they're talking about? The goals being the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which the UN being the giant thing that we all suddenly have to fund, even though it says it wants to trans our kids and legalize all drugs. And of course, it has its enactment arm, which is the World Economic Forum, which is its posh cocktail party in January every year, where everyone comes together and says, okay, how do we make policies that happen everywhere all at once to make every single country the same to enact these goals? Some of these goals are climate related. And if you look at the way the UN are going about it, they never seem to actually enact the goals that they're looking to do. So Nobel Prize winning economist William Nordhaus decided to do a risk assessment of the goals. And he said, if, according to the IPCC report, you went with the worst possible, most damaging prediction of what climate change will do, and then you did the UN's proposed plans to stop it, if you spent all the money that the UN is saying we should spend to stop climate change, it would cause more damage to the planet and people's lives than even their own climate change predictions. This is why Bjorn Lomborg turned around and said, if you look at a return on investment index for all of the goals, climate change, as the UN proposes it, is ranked second to worst. Now, why is this? Why can they never have decent policy making? Well, it's because the goal is to create a scaremongering narrative that allows them to confiscate our energy security in order to make us potential have and have not serfs. I don't think that's conspiratorial when their policy arm, the World Economic Forum, says in 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And this message is completely on brand because ahead of COP28 in lovely Dubai, which is of course very climate conscious, so climate conscious in fact that one of the hosts is going to use the meetings to promote his own national oil company because our elites are stupid and we don't make oil in our own countries anymore. Actually, the UN has released a report called Broken Record. Oh, the irony of where they say that if we keep going the same course, we're going to see 3-degree warming by 2050 and it's going to be catastrophic. So what's the solution? By 2030, we need to knock off 42% of our current emissions. That means the world's 5 biggest economies, which is Russia, China, 5 biggest polluters rather, Russia, China, the US, Japan, and India. All countries which I'm sure are going to get along and just decide to turn their economies off with absolutely no problem. It's a pipe dream, but they just want us poor and cold.